Hi, this is Trey Pass. Welcome to my review of episode 5 of Swamp Thing called Drive All Night. Several things happen in this. This review is going to have spoilers, obviously, like the other ones have had. And several things happen in this episode. It was a pretty exciting episode. Among other things, Swamp Thing actually ran into the Phantom Stranger. I know the Phantom Stranger is a comic book character and stuff, but in this version of Phantom Stranger, he just appeared to be a regular guy coming out to fish, and he's actually giving, Alec, aka Swamp Thing, advice about the past and stuff. Because Alec is, he's seeing things, seeing dead bodies and stuff, and he's wondering what's going on, and this stranger appears and appears to be guiding him and telling him, how what's happening to him, and that changes a part of life, and he has to accept it. Okay, so and then also at the same time we see Abby. She's still, looking at samples of Swamp Thing to try to, hopefully find a cure for, Alec and reverse it. And of course, Jason Woodrow is still, lurking behind her. You're wondering exactly and where she got the sample for, and she's kind of evades the question. And he does a little digging on his own and finds out, of course, that and perfectly surmises that since Alec Holland was the only scientist that was here before him, that she probably got it from his research. And he goes with a guy who used to sell equipment. He actually goes to the cabin and he sees the remains of Alec's house that he rented, and it's all beat up from the confrontation that Alec had when he saved Abby a couple episodes back and stuff. And he actually finds samples of the Swamp Thing, and he sees that it's moving, and he knows that this thing that Abby sample that Abby let him look at the other episode is a live thing. And of course I know we can surmise that he's excited for two things. This is what Avery Sullivan paid him to come down and look for, this sample thing. And he actually goes later in the episode. He goes and informs Avery that he's found this thing, and also we know because he said it to Abby that this thing that's with these cells is constantly mutating and stuff that could possibly save his wife that we found out in I think in episode 2 or 3 that she has she has a case of Alzheimer's and she could slowly lose her mind. And I think he's doing this because he wants to get that sample. He knows this is a living creature that she got this sample from. Abby got it. Avery got, excuse me, that Abby got it from, and he wants to capture it. So he goes to Avery, and Avery tells him that gives him a name card, said, "Go get this guy. This guy's the best tracker we got." And okay, because basically Jason Woodrow said, "I need this creature." He just he assumes it's a creature. He doesn't know it's Swamp Thing, that he wants it on the table so he can operate on it. And I think he has two motives, of course, obviously to help cure his wife and to give Avery this thing so he can revitalize the swamp. Okay, and because this is I think the direct result of them dropping all those chemicals into the swamp. Okay. Also, at the same time, that little Susie Coyle, who's staying with Maria Sutherland in the house, and she gets possessed by their daughter, who Abby feels a lot of guilt for her dying, for Shauna dying. She feels a lot of guilt about that, and so Shauna actually possesses Susie, and she gets her mother to actually think of her, as her daughter. And Abby comes over to check up on her, and she actually sees that she's actually telling her things that only her friend would know, her best friend would know, only those things, and the names, the secret nicknames they call each other. Okay, and she gets freaked out by this, and she actually leaves, and then later she follows, she finds out that Maria has taken or been led, excuse me, by the possessed Susie back into the swamp, where her daughter Shauna is beckoning at her to basically to drown herself and join her. And of course she's getting ready to do this, and Abby has to run out there and try to save her. And of course she tries to possess Maria, tries to drown her and stuff, and she gets away. But then she can't find her. Then of course we see Swamp Thing comes to the rescue, and he carries her out of the water, and she's still breathing and stuff. And Abby's asking Swamp Thing, how did he find her? And she said, I sensed your pain. And he actually, early in the episode, by touching a tree and looking into the past, he saw what happened in the past between Abby and her friend Shauna, okay, and how they, are like 2 days from graduation, how they was this big dare that they wanted to jump off this bridge. I guess this is a big thing back then, to jump off a bridge as part of a ritual, to jump off a bridge, sort of a rite of passage type thing. And of course, Abby didn't want to do it at first, and then she gets dared into doing it, and she pushes her friend, Shauna, off the bridge, and she thinks she's drowning. She jumps down into water after her, but then of course Shauna was just pretending, and she's there, and then the water just came around, and then all of a sudden something starts grabbing Shauna, and it literally drags her away. And so and we never find out exactly who that was, what thing that was that dragged her away and drowned her and killed her. Okay, so that's another mystery to be solved. I guess maybe that'll be revealed later. Okay, and also we have another Daniel Cassidy, played by Ian Ziering. We know that his character played the Blue Devil, I think, in Hollywood. His character, I mean, they haven't explained it full out in this series, but he's a character. I think he played a character called the Blue Devil in Hollywood. And I think from what we see so far, that he made a deal with a devil or a spirit to be famous, and I guess the spirit has trapped him basically in this town. He can't leave, because we see in this episode he tries to zoom his car and run out, basically run out of town, and he stops just before he gets to the border, and then he reaches out with his hand, gets out of the car, reaches out with his hand to try to reach across the border, and of course it immediately burns his hand up to death. Like literally burns his hand, and he pulls it back. Okay, and so we see, and he's yelling at fate and saying, basically regretting that he should have never made this bargain he made. So now he's basically trapped in, he's trapped in it. But like Madame Xanadu told him that Abby Arcane is the key for him to get out of this town. So he's wondering, still to himself, what does he have to do to, get out of this town? Also, at the same time, we find out that Lucille Cable, the local sheriff, mother of Matt Cable, the dude that has a crush on Abby, the childhood friend has a crush on Abby, we find out that she's still sleeping with Avery, Avery Sutherland. So he's supposed to be out on business, but she's still sleeping with him. Okay, and we find out that she's going to investigate something that Liz Tremaine's friend found, the boat that Alec was on that got shot up. And she has to go out and investigate it, and she goes out to the local swamp guy that was in the swamp that night, and he basically tells her that, listen, I know your son Matt was the one that was out there. He was the only other person besides Alec Holland that was out there the night Alec Holland boat blew up. So he's basically trying to blackmail Avery Dubas is trying to blackmail Lucille, okay, and she's not having it, and she basically winds up killing him, okay, and she has to you can tell she's gonna have to fake his death and probably come up with an excuse that he tried to attack her or something. I don't know how they're gonna do that, since she shot him up she shot him. I think she basically emptied the gun in him. So I guess you're gonna have to stage that thing. But she said she told him, nobody threatens my son, so we know that she will do anything for her son. Okay, but I'm kind of thinking that maybe he didn't do it. I think Avery was the one that's responsible for killing Alec, but but maybe he is, because the guy that was trying to blackmail, he did see Matt out there. So I don't know if he was just trying to blackmail or making up that lie, or was that really the truth, that maybe Matt was trying to. We know he loves Abby. He had that secret crush on her, and he still loves her. So maybe he's trying to get rid of the competition. Maybe he saw how close Alec and Abby were, and maybe he wanted to end the competition, and people have killed for less. So that could be very possible. Anyway, like I said, so I think that's basically the gist of everything that happened. Like I said, I think that's everything that happened, because we know now that Jason Woodrow, the scientist, he knows that Alec is out there somewhere, and Avery Sutherland's gave him a name of somebody, a hunter that can help him track Alec down. So we know there's going to be maybe some confrontation in the next episode or two with people trying to actually capture Swamp Thing. Okay, and we know now that that Abby didn't kill her friend. That her friend got dragged off by something that we don't quite know what it was, but she was dragged off. Abby's just feeling guilt for being out there with her friend and not being able to save her. So she just has that guilt on her. So that's it. And like I said, we got to meet the Phantom Stranger, a version of this, and I understand he's supposed to be in a couple more episodes and stuff. And again, he's just basically like a guide to help Alec deal with the fact that he's Swamp Thing and deal with all the wacky things that are happening in the swamp and stuff. So again, another good episode to me. Got a lot of moving parts. Oh yeah, there's one other thing I forgot to talk about. Liz Tremaine, Abby's friend, who's the reporter. Avery Southern is on to her that she's investigating and stuff, and he basically tries to threaten her and her father, but she's not having it. Okay, she's tough, and she says she's not. She said maybe there was a time when you could threaten us, but I'm not having it. And then later we find out, when she's going to her car after drinking at a bar with Daniel Cassidy, that these guys come up to her trying to basically warn her off and tell her stop digging around and things. And she actually handles herself pretty well. And then Daniel Cassidy comes out seeing that she's, these guys are around and tries to help her, but he winds up getting knocked over his head and kind of knocked out. But I think, again, this guy, Daniel Cassidy, Ian Zieri's character, made a deal with the devil, so I don't think he can die. I think he's basically trapped in that town, and he can't even die. So I bet you next episode, just assumption on my part, that he's not going to die, that he's going to miraculously heal, because he made a deal with the devil, and he can't die, and he's basically stuck in that town. Okay, and we did see a quick shot of his costume as he lifted up the car to the trunk of the back. We see the costume that he wore, the devil costume, and the eyes glowed and lit up. So whatever deal he made is still in effect, and I think he can't leave that town and he can't die. So we'll see what happens further on. But I'm loving this show, and I hope some other network puts this show up, because this show is getting really good. And I hope some other network picks this show up, because this show is really, really good, and I really enjoy it. And I hate that they canceled it, because this show is really good. So hopefully another network will pick this show up and run it. Okay, because this show is really good, and I'm really enjoying it and stuff. Interesting character, good writing, good acting, and so I'm enjoying it the hell out of it. Anyway, let me know what you think of Swamp Thing. If you've seen it, what do you think of it? Feel free to leave comments down below and let me know what you think of it. I have links to my social media in the description box: Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I also have a link to my other channel called Views and Opinions. Please check that out as well. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long and take care.